Methylene Blue is touted as a miracle, anti-aging brain energy drug. Biohackers are using it in hopes to prevent diseases of aging like Alzheimer's. They claim that it improves their mitochondrial health and the power flowing through those mitochondria. And I take notice whenever mitochondrial science hits the headlines. I'm even taking it this time. But my colleagues are warning against a potential life-threatening side effect. Is methylene blue dangerous? So how could this literal clothing dye be behind all this discussion? Well, it starts with your mitochondria and why you should care about your mitochondria. I teach about this organelle all the time. I tell people it's where the Holy Spirit lives. The foundation of all the problems I see in my medical clinic are caused by their darn mitochondria getting broken. Diseases like type 2 diabetes, Alzheimer's, and heart failure. Anti-aging is the big claim. So what does accelerated aging look like inside your cells? Let's start with healthy. Here's a healthy mitochondria. Inside these beautiful folds, energy for life happens. When energy stops flowing through here, life stops. Just like the Holy Spirit. Every cell except your red blood cells have a mitochondria. The brain and muscle cells, like your heart, have the most. Trigger warning, here comes some science. ATP synthesis means fuel produced inside your mitochondria. ATP is the body's currency for energy, and these electrons flow through the protein complexes 1 through 5 that are embedded in the internal membrane inside your mitochondria. Donated electrons travel down that internal membrane, and much like a chain, they pump protons into the inner membrane space to drive the ATP synthesis. That stored charge gradient lets ADP become ATP, the cell's energy. If the protons stop shuttling, an excess of electrons hit oxygen the wrong way and form the enemy, reactive oxygen species, or ROS. This is aging. This is how cells break down, get damaged, and don't work as well. Here is chronic disease. Accelerated aging and inflammation in the cell looks like this: leaking electrons, and excessive reactive oxygen species. Leaking electrons lead to DNA damage, organelle damage, cell wall damage, and even aging of the brain and body. Well, this is not new. It's been around for a long time, and I first used it in the microbiology lab to stain cells like those holding malaria or tuberculosis so that we could see them better under a microscope. History teaches us that when they used it to stain these cells initially, they discovered that it killed the malaria and the tuberculosis. It has this antimicrobial property that many of you fish tank owners may know because it keeps that ick from growing in your fish tank. We've been using it in hospitals for over 150 years. I can remember the first time I saw a blue IV drip. Boy, does it look strange. The most common use is treatment for methemoglobinemia. This is the term we use when something blocks the ability to deliver oxygen to the end organs. Methylene Blue helps move energy along that transport chain when there is a problem with the flow of energy. Let's go back to our close-up. This electron chain is vital for your survival. To remind you how important the electron chain is, cyanide blocks complex 4. Yeah, methylene blue isn't used in hospitals to treat cyanide poisoning, but it is the fastest treatment for my patient with carbon monoxide poisoning. So the mechanism is clear, and that's how it works. It accepts the electrons from NADH to go to NADPH. It jumps over these blocked complexes like complex 4 when cyanide was blocking it. And this maintains that ATP production, keeping the flow of energy around as you fix the problem in another way. Think of methylene blue as a jumper cable that bypasses the stalled sections of this sequence, of this chain. This is huge, but it is not fixing the blockages, it just helps you bypass them. The molecule is hanging out right inside the mitochondria, ready to donate its part in helping you not die while you fix the problem in other ways. So, what's the punchline? This short list of substances blocks the flow of energy inside your mitochondria. I don't know if this is a problem in your body or my body, but methylene blue bypasses the block that is caused and helps reduce the inflammation of these enemies, these reactive oxygen species. Another noticeable effect is methylene blue on the brain. Personally, when I take it, I can feel a better improvement in my concentration and my brain energy. And I know that it's getting to the brain because, brains turn blue when people take this. At autopsy, soldiers who had been compliant about their anti-malarial treatment of methylene blue had blue brains and blue hearts. Why? Those mitochondria, they're the highest concentration in these two organs. And the effect of the anti-aging, reversing damage in the brain, is happening because the presence of that molecule is actually in the right place to do what it might need to help you do. It reduces that oxidative stress, it supports the mitochondrial rejuvenation, and it protects neurons with improved oxygen and a quicker repair. And here's another quick history lesson. The structure of methylene blue led to the development of the antipsychotic drug called phenolphthalein. This is an old drug with a huge breakthrough in its day. Methylene blue promises potential benefits in the cognitive aging and those neurodegenerative conditions mentioned earlier. Methylene blue is a monoamine oxidase inhibitor. This means that it blocks down the enzyme that breaks down our neurotransmitters like serotonin. More serotonin, because the removal is less, means you feel better. And monoamine oxidase inhibitors are sometimes used to treat depression. But too much of a good thing can kill. This brings me to what's the risk? Is methylene blue going to kill you with serotonin syndrome? Many people who I respect give warning about this, but I have a healthy dose of skepticism. Serotonin syndrome is a condition that can be deadly. I think of it as a motor in the brain that's going too high because serotonin rises and the process to break it down is gone. And this just increases that rev. The patient's temperature rises, their heart rate goes up, and if left untreated, they can have a seizure or other organ failure. I'm disappointed that I haven't heard my colleagues mention that methylene blue is a reversible type of monoamine oxidase inhibitors. This is nowhere near as concerning. Changing the pH or adding heat can cancel out the effects. And don't forget, the warning is only against combining this in high doses with SSRIs, migraine meds, or other illicit drugs. The truth is, there are only a few published case studies in over 150 years of this commonly used drug connecting methylene blue to serotonin syndrome. I spoke with a psychiatrist friend of mine to check my work, and he said, yeah, the warnings are way overblown. The reason you'll hear providers warn against the caution in a medical setting is that the high doses from an IV drip of methylene blue combined with SSRIs or other drugs do carry this rare risk. There has been one death in a patient with methylene blue combined with other medications following a surgery, and unfortunately, the medical team missed the signs of serotonin syndrome. It is rare, it's hard to think of. But if they would have seen the problem, it would have been treatable. I feel the most powerful brain effect when I combine methylene blue with fasting. And if done right, fasting is way more powerful than any supplement. For the rules on how to fast in a way that heals your mitochondria better than any drug, click here. I'll see you there.